In order to get those clients, production companies, big brands like TikTok, PSA, it really boils down to 5 key differences that separate those successful and unsuccessful video editors. So it's not like there's good clients and there's bad clients. It's only about your goal that you attach to it. So if it's making a livable wage, a good client would be some of the editors online just seem to be making a killing. They don't seem to be stressing at all. They seem to be fulfilled and have clients that respect them. They're doing really cool work. On the other hand, you've probably seen and been a struggling video editor whose clients ask the world of them, but don't pay an appropriate amount for that work. I know that pain firsthand. I personally looked at my video editing business in 2019. And seeing my finances from the prior year in 2018, my video business did not grow. In fact, it did even worse. I still really struggled to finally go full-time as a video editor. That's really when I started rethinking what I was doing, if it was working, and what I should change. And I'm gonna share those changes that I made that allowed me to work with amazing production companies, big brands like TikTok, PSA, and it really boils down to 5 key differences that separate those successful and unsuccessful video editors. One of these things should greatly help your business because, to be honest, I'm nothing special. I just finally started being less stubborn and trying to grow on the business side instead of relying on my creative skills. Until finally, I had that growth in my business, went full-time, and I know you could do the same, whether you want to go full-time or you want to grow exponentially. So let's get into the first key difference that affects your success. The first key difference is the video editor's business philosophy. This is not a creative dream. Throughout this video, I might say rich editor, I might say successful video editor. Pretty much means the same thing. Rich editor definitely knows how to make money, what decisions or factors result in the most money. 3, what systems or parts of their business are most important for client success. And 4, what do they need to do to get new clients? Now let's start with the making money part. It's going to be the most helpful for you to do this full time. Obviously making money. I want you to think to yourself, if you're gonna do 3 things right now, only 3 things, what would they be? The most important things in order for you to get a new client, get more money, increase your chances of getting hired. Weirdly enough, they're rarely creative things. Easy way to start is tracking how many cold calls it takes to get a client. And if that's taking an absurd amount, how can you improve your portfolio to increase that conversion rate? Start there. Every week or every day, reaching out to somebody and making your page, your landing page, your Instagram, or your website to have that present you in the best way. I'll show some marketing results and also show off your best work first. Now, philosophy might be a weird word when I initially said it, but people really don't have the right thinking of this. My business philosophy is to charge an appropriate amount in order to do this full time. It wasn't in the beginning. It was just to charge enough where I could get a client. Even if that client wasn't going to help my business exponentially. There'd be clients that were more creatively fulfilling that I would prioritize. It's really important that you prioritize the clients that pay your bills first and then add on that creative fulfilling stuff, or look for a client that's both. Once the bills are paid, it's a lot easier to find and be selective with your clients. So a client that you enjoy working with, is creative fulfilling and pays the bills. Once you already have those paying the bills clients, the other 2 are much easier. Second key is the types of clients successful video editors have. Now, I do a complete facepalm when I think about some of the past clients I've worked with. If you haven't already, then good, you probably have some good momentum. You're close to growing your business full-time or growing your revenue exponentially. Let's say we're trying to make $50,000 US a year. That's comfortable living. Even if you're not in the US, just answer that with comfortable living. Now think about your clients. If somebody had the same goal, would you recommend going after the clients that you have currently to that person, or would you absolutely not? Thinking back to around 2019, the clients I was working with was embarrassing. Slowly transitioning into more corporate marketing content, which I didn't just do for finances. I found it fulfilling. I enjoyed it. But in order to get those clients, I couldn't scare them away. So at the same time, I was doing music videos. I was doing videos for weed companies. Let's quickly fix this. So for that, if you have creative stuff you want to keep doing or you find embarrassing, but you still want to keep that income, just create a second Instagram page or portfolio for that. Second, we're going to go all in on our marketing/professional portfolio Instagram page. And now we're thinking, are these clients going to get us to where we need to go? Comfortable living. If you're editing for a amateur YouTube channel that is not big, they don't have a smart business attached to it. YouTube may seem like the lottery sometimes or a place for growth. I honestly think you should stay away from 95% of those YouTube editing gigs. You start with a low rate and you do not grow fast exponentially with that. YouTube editing clients are some of the worst clients. They demand so much. They're not even able to probably pay themselves with that content. They definitely can't afford a respectable wage for their editor. They can't even pay themselves. There's just so many different and better places to put your time and work your way up. You know, a $500 YouTube video, I mean, sometimes that's my day rate. It's not a good rate. You know, spending a week for 500 versus a day, it's a huge difference. I think I've said this before. Every time I thought I was going to grow exponentially with a client, I have not. Every time I've started in the right position, it's been much better. I've still grown, and it's not comparable. It's not comparable. So if you're looking at your client list, you're editing a lot of videos for YouTubers, it's not paying a lot, this is the time. Look in the mirror. Try to use that experience to edit something else. It's not their fault. It's only about your goal that you attach to it. So if it's making a livable wage, wherever you are, a good client would be, for me, business, a very profitable creator. They have a ceiling. Look for the people with a higher ceiling. Don't be like me. Don't look past in a year and be like, I didn't even do better, I did worse. And if you want to break from looking at this too much like a business, a great way to get experience and get more money is to apply to more full-time jobs instead of trying to attract more clients. That's a good way. I've done that. Kind of, it's like a rest. Most of us work more than a full-time job. So I would not look down at that. I would try to get that depending on where you are in life. Get paid, get some great work experience, consider applying a couple more full-time jobs instead of looking for bad clients. Number 3 key difference is how helpful your service is to a business. So speaking of work experience, a lot of self-taught video editors really overvalue the skills that they have. I know this from experience. I used to think I can do all these cool effects and techniques in After Effects. I've done creative things with music videos, a little bit of commercials, documentaries. There's so many cool little techniques that I learned, yada, yada. 90% of that, unfortunately, did not translate to the bulk of my work. 90% of those cool things I knew how to do, my clients did not need. I'm not even happy to say that, but it's the truth. So if you're trying to get more of these jobs that subcontract from production companies or some full-time gigs doing video or content full-time, some of the things you're highlighting aren't completely valuable to the business. That one reel that did pretty well on views but took you a week to edit, it's not always in the budget. It's pretty rare for marketing that we're going to spend that much budget on one reel. That transition that took you the whole day to do, that got scrapped later on in the edit, your workflow should have changed how you approached it. Really work on the essentials of the video edit first and then add on with the creative aspects of it. But a lot of us creatives think that first. We get excited, jump the gun. So what I recommend for you, not only to improve your workflow, but to probably earn the trust of people you're trying to work with and get those jobs, is work on and then share with that company your workflow. If I was hiring somebody, I would really stress or need somebody that's very organized, that I know exactly where everything is. And if they send me the project file, see, not a lot of us are used to sending a project file. But that's one of the most important things, is that when you send that project file, every file links up and that person knows where it is. If you're just throwing stuff in the project, even if the project's good, it looks good, it's gonna be complete hell for your client to work with. So start ironing out your workflow where it matters, how well you can cut a story, how organized it can be, how fast you can have that 80% of the edit done. Stop worrying about the effects and the cool cinematic stuff right now. Let's get paid first. Number 4 key difference is gear and software. I personally think, and I kind of think it's an objective fact, that the best editing software for getting clients, for getting work, and therefore the easiest way to go full-time is to use Premiere Pro. I use Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, the Adobe suite. I don't think it's perfect at all, but looking for clients, looking for jobs, I will always see that editing software preferred unless it's somebody who just uses Avid, and that's filmmaking. That's a totally other type of job. Not what I'm looking for. I mean, this is all about making a livable wage. Most people are looking for Premiere Pro. So if you're using Premiere Pro, you're more likely to get a job. Like I said, I don't even care what's the best. I work with other editors and production companies. I'm utilizing Premiere Pro. Send project files back and forth. The generation before us were mostly hiring because they grew up using that program, and they're gonna hire people who also use it. But DaVinci Resolve, great editing software. Please stop using Final Cut. Premiere Pro is when you're actually in the field, getting clients. My highest paying clients use that software. 80% of my clients use that software. I recommend it to get paid. It's got some bugs that will frustrate you, 100%. We're trying to get paid, and it's my best recommendation, honestly. Fifth key difference between successful and not successful video editors is gonna be pricing. Pricing is huge. Pricing is the difference between you being eternally anxious as a video editor and you feeling confident that you can make it through the year and that you can grow. If you're a freelance editor, you can't and won't work Monday through Friday every weekday of the year. For 99% of editors, it's just not possible. You have to transition between one client and the next, and you should not be charging the same as somebody who's full-time. An experienced video editor, a little between senior and beginner, here's a rate you should aim for. Anywhere between $35 to $65 an hour. It might sound like a lot, but it's actually easier to bill higher hourly than to get more clients in my experience. Unless you're scraping at the bottom of the barrel, which we talked about. Let's not do that. Can't grow that way. So that's all the key differences. None of this will be easy. If you make these changes, these are really the tipping point, the ones that made the biggest difference in my business and allowed me to feel more comfortable financially doing this. Let me know in the comments if you have something you're struggling with. If you enjoyed this video, I have a whole PDF, link in the description. That PDF goes into more detail of whether you should feel good or bad about your video editing career. It's got 2 columns to figure out if you have a good or bad client. It's got some expertise and just some overall advice about the career of video editing. So check it out, PDF linked below on videoloadout.com. Also, if you're growing and you're trying to find what gear to use, I have a whole video about my desk setup right here. Check it out as well. All right, see you on the next video. Cheers.